Bendnstretch with Sue. In today's video, I'm taking you through an extra gentle yoga practice. And this one comes by request from a dear friend and client whom I've been working with for quite some time now in improving her mobility as well as her breath capacity and overall wellness. Now, due to the pandemic that we're in now, we haven't been able to get together other than virtually. So this is in order to provide an on-hand video that can be used at any time to just help feel a little bit better. So all you need for this one is a yoga strap. If you don't have one of these, you could use a belt, would be fine. You could also have maybe some cushions nearby or a bolster that can be quite useful just to give some extra support to make things more comfortable. Yoga blanket can be another useful prop that can be used for some padding, extra support. And then there are the yoga blocks. I have a couple of them here, and using these just makes the reach easier anytime you might be struggling with actually getting a sense of lengthening your arms, if you will, or shortening your legs. So have some sort of maybe some blocks, books, whatever you might have available to just help your reach. So as we get our props all set, we're ready to go, and let's begin. Now, as we prepare to move into the practice, you may want to have a blanket or even your bolster, depending how stiff you are through the hips, to simply help elevate your hips. From here, we can move into a cross-legged position. You can either line up the ankles with, or the heels with each other, placing one ankle in front, or you might just cross the ankles themselves, which can make it a little bit easier to have your knees somewhat elevated. By having the hips a little higher up, it allows that opening through your knees and inner thighs. So a higher support, like the bolster or even a block, can be even more helpful. So do feel free to give yourself the permission to do that. Now, as we sit tall, you can bring the backs of your hands to your knees, your thighs, closing your eyes. Taking a deep breath in and exhaling through the mouth. And repeating that. One more. And then beginning to breathe in and out through the nose, perhaps closing off the energy by bringing the index finger, thumb tips together, letting the other fingers soften from here. Remaining in a nice open position through the heart, staying tall and observing just what's going on the inside. Thoughts floating in and out, perhaps at a relatively fast pace. Perhaps noticing a fair amount of mental noise and chatter. So as you bring the awareness to your breath, feeling its coolness as you breathe in, its warmth as you breathe out, you gradually move your focus away from the noise, from the begin to gradually prepare yourself to move into the practice. But first, taking a few moments to set a positive intention for your time on the mat today. Maybe you intend to just enjoy a really good stretch, or you intend to remain present, let go of everything else, just for a little while. And as you exhale the next time, just gently let the eyelids float open. Breathing in with a big, beautiful stretch, looking up and exhaling to bring the hands to your heart. A little bit of pressure between those palms, and let's do it again as we breathe in. And from here, then just bring the hands to the knees as we gently drop one ear to the shoulder. A little gentle tuck of the chin toward that shoulder. And then gently dragging it along through the front, over to the opposite side, rocking the ear. And lifting the head back up again, inhaling. Exhale, bring it back to the left shoulder. Again, slight gentle tuck, dragging it along. And as you bring ear toward the shoulder, bring it back up again. Moving through a few shoulder rolls here. Gently massaging out neck, shoulder area. And then as we breathe in, reaching up and bringing those palms together back down at the heart center. From here, you can interlace the fingers and press the palms away as you stretch between the shoulder blades, the upper back. Breathing in to bring those hands up, opening up the front of the body, and then gently take the hands and cup the base of your skull into the hands. The elbows open wide, lifting your gaze up, and just keep opening up the elbows here. Breathe in. Just feel those elbows pressing open, the head well supported in your hands, and then gently bringing the elbows toward each other. Inhaling to open them up again, lifting your gaze upward, and exhale. Let's do one more. As we inhale here, open it up, and exhale to release those arms down again. Floating them up to bring the palms together. Exhaling to bring the right hand down and just gently leaning into that side. So softening up your elbow. And as you ease into it, reaching up and over. Extending the arm, reaching through the fingertips, and gently turning, if you can, towards your left elbow. If not, just keep your gaze down. So if you find that it creates strain in your neck, shoulders at all, just look down at the floor, look straight ahead. But if you want that extra bit, lifting your gaze up opens the ribs a little bit more. Breathing in to float the right hand to meet the left. Breathing out to bring the left hand down. Again, we're leaning away from the right side as we extend, reaching and softening. So bit by bit, try to keep your right sit bone on the floor here or on your blanket, wherever it's grounding, and then gently turning to lift your gaze up again. Breathing into that right side, reaching through the fingertips and look up with the slightest back bend and bring the hands back to your heart. From here, let's move down if it is doable for you. So it really is important as you go along each step of the way, as we move one pose to the next. If you explore getting deeper into it, maybe asking yourself why. Is it more conducive to you getting deeper into the pose, or is it going to make you uncomfortable and really therefore not necessary? Let's bring the opposite ankle in front here, just to balance out that stretch through the hips. And as we bring the hands to the knees, opening through the heart, pulling the belly button in, breathing in, and breathing out to circle around. And just easing into these rotations that feel so good as you continue to ever so beautifully massage out your hips, flowing with ease and with grace. Closing the eyes can be a wonderful way to explore it and get a little bit more depth into each one of these stretches. As you make your way back up this time, take a pause and just take time to feel how this resonates through your body. Then breathing in a little taller, exhaling, going the other way. And again, enjoying that smooth massage. You want to move in such a way that you kind of get the sense of you are the recipient of the massage, but you're also the therapist who gives the massage at the same time. So you have that intuitive knowledge of what feels good within your body and just how to achieve it. Yourself right back up again. From here, let's move the feet apart, and we can keep it bend in the knees, and you just lean back here as you allow those legs to just gently sway. It's got to be one of my favorite movements, whether you're laying down on your back doing this or whether you are seated doing this. This feels so good for your hips. It's a great way to bring balance back and to release your low back. From here, let's move on to the hands and knees. As you open up the hands and bring the knees underneath your hips into a table position. We take a moment here to pull the navel toward the spine and shift the hips over to the right side and just kind of let them sink to the right as you look past your left shoulder. And then moving through the center to bring hips center again and sinking them to the opposite side, looking the other way past your right shoulder. So let's do that one more time to each side. Hips sink to the right, looking to the left. Through the middle, hips sink to the left, looking to the right. Bring it back to the center and push yourself back into child's pose. You can slide the arms away here, or do feel free to bring your block underneath your forehead. Soften through the arms, maybe bring them by your legs as you release into that child's pose. Slowly unrolling and making your way back to your table position onto all fours. From here, we might even take the hands a little bit further forward so that as we move into a little bit of a half plank position, well supported by our abdominal muscles, gently start to circle your hips out to the right and then pushing them right back as you circle them to the left and moving forward again. So imagine a great big clock here that you are working your way around, bringing those hips in that circular motion, bit by bit, increasing the range of motion. Now as you bring yourself to the center, we'll move the other way. So getting both directions here. So you want to use this fluid movement to really lubricate your hip area even more. We started that when we were sitting. Now we just keep increasing it. Listen to the sound of your breathing. And as you come back through to the center, we push the hips right back, bringing big toes together, widening the knees to make it a wide angle child's pose. Now, to make it even more gentle, you could simply keep your hips up above your knees and maybe stack your hands, your forearms, even your fists, or again, you can use that block to place your forehead on. If you want even more softness, always reaching for a prop can be another great way to make this just right for yourself. So bringing your bolster, your pillow cushions underneath, and just allowing your hips to remain pressing back. Maybe you bring them back further and find the adjustment that's just right for you. Another option as you stay here in your child's pose is to bring that bolster right behind your knees as well. That can make it quite comfortable. And when you are ready, you can ease your way up into your table once again. So as we move into table, and if you're wondering about some of these props, they are available on Amazon, and I've got them linked in the description down below with some affiliate links. Now as you move into half plank position here, you want to really pull the belly in. So even though it's extra gentle, you want to promote some strengthening in the body. And from here we bend the elbows to ease our way down onto the mat. You may bring the hands forward so that your elbows are under your shoulders. It can be a more gentle way to come into a back bend, and decreasing the angle on that lower back is facilitated by bringing your forearms even further away from you, keeping the shoulder blades moving down your back. Excuse me. And from here, take a nice inhale, and as you exhale, let yourself roll down. Bringing the hands to stack at the top of the mat. We'll bring the left ear, to the mat. As you bring your right knee out to the side, creating a half frog position. Allows for a nice easy opening of the right hip, of that external rotation. And it also releases your lower back, particularly following that back bend. So bringing back your right leg where it was, and we'll switch it around, bringing the right ear to the hands and the left knee to the side. And then as we restore that original prone position, we bring the hands out to the sides. Now, you can use more weight on your knees to make it more gentle. You do want to keep those elbows tucked in though, and the neck long to press yourself up. and push yourself back into the child's pose that feels the best for you as you release. As we reach forward with the hands keeping wide open, moving back into a table, we take an inhale to lift gaze forward and upward, and exhale to round into an angry cat. So let's repeat this a few times. This is always a really simple way to release discomfort, low back pain. This is one that is really a favorite, especially when I was teaching prenatal yoga classes. Low backs, hips tend to get really tight, and this is always a really good one. It's gentle enough to really aid and facilitate that loosening of the low back, no matter what's going on with you. You just listen to your body. As you come back to your neutral position, we'll take the blocks to the top of the mat here, which is going to make it the easiest of all. You could even have a chair out in front of your mat if you didn't have access to blocks, or you need something a little higher as we step the right foot forward. So we want to have that right knee above the ankle or slightly behind the ankle in order to give us a really solid place to press down, to uplift the body so that we can open the heart. And if you need to keep holding on to your blocks to support you, go ahead and do that. You might be able to have enough balance to bring one arm alongside the ear, and you might even be able to bring the other one alongside the ear. Take a big breath in to open up the heart. Pressing into that front foot, sinking the hips maybe a little bit more as you bring more weight into that front heel. As you bring the hands down, we move into a half split position by lifting the toes. And again, you can keep using your blocks or bring the hands all the way down to the floor. As we straighten the right leg, always be sure that you're not locking your knee. Relaxing the shoulders and bringing belly over top of your thigh. You can hang out here for a little while, just focusing on breathing. You'll notice the difference that your breath does when you pause and you observe. Breath in promotes length, while the breath out promotes more depth. So listen to your body. Don't try to push yourself so hard that you start to make it a struggle. It's really about allowing your body to adapt and to really feel good in the stretch. And then as you gently replace the foot down, we'll walk the hands to the inside of the foot, gently turn the toes out. Then you may want to stay on the hands, and you could continue to use your blocks here to give you a little bit more height. But from here, just gently opening up that inner thigh a little bit. Letting gravity help you. You can turn those toes in the same direction as your knee, sinking the hips a little bit more. And then gently push the hips back and bring the knee underneath the hip. And while the blocks are still at the top of the mat, let's go right into the other side. So if you need to stop and do a child's pose in between, you could go ahead and do that. And just pause the video and come back to doing the opposite side. That will make it even a little bit more gentle. You can open up the heart, pressing into that front foot again, making sure that your ankle is in front of your knee. And again, pay attention to your breath. Notice every time you exhale, you just feel like you're able to get a little bit deeper, and it just feels so good. You can keep one hand on the block, extend the other arm to challenge your balance. If you want even more challenge, you could do both arms. Totally optional. There's always lots of choices to make this easier or to make it a little bit more challenging. Some days you just are up for the challenge and other days you are simply not. So it's really important to tune into that, see what's going on in your body. As you bring the hands down, you're going to once again move into that half split. And there's nothing wrong with being extra kind to your body. As we lift those toes up, we stretch the back of the leg. If we push all the time, what happens is we begin to create inflammation in our bodies, and it becomes difficult for our bodies to keep up, to really heal and to help us on our journey of wellness and health. So it's really important to give ourselves that downtime to recharge and restore so that we can allow our bodies to heal themselves and to rid themselves of inflammation. Because the inflammation is definitely the root to all diseases. And then gently bringing that back again. So we're going to bend that knee, just ease the foot out slightly, enough so that you have room to either bring the hands underneath your chest on the mat or on your block, allowing the pelvis to melt down a little bit more. So those hips, they will tighten up. So whether you have been very active and you're stiff, there's a lot of athletic people who become very, very tight, very, very stiff, quite often because the appeal of really working the muscles, building the muscles, is a larger focus than stretching them. It's all about balance. So as we move those hips back and slide the knee underneath the hip, we're going to once again walk the hands further forward, inhaling the body forward as we come into that half plank, keeping the chest nice and proud, navel in, breathing in, and breathing out to lower ourselves down. You can keep the hands here. You could bring your forearms down if you prefer, and we're going to lift up into Cobra. So creating flexibility in our spine, by bending it back. And if it doesn't bend back very easily, just be patient with yourself, pushing those hips back once again, and taking time to pause. So again, use your options. Find the child's pose that is most comfortable, most nurturing to you, as you take a few breaths here. As we slowly press the floor away, we'll move back into a seated position. From here, we're going to take it to butterfly pose as we bring the soles of the feet, or cobbler's pose. And you can hold on to the toes here, giving yourself time to adjust once again. So this is another place where you may want to use your blanket or even blocks to work the hips. So if you're coming into cross-legged or a cobbler's pose such as this, and your knees are way up in the air, give yourself a break and elevate your hips. Sit on a block, sit on a few cushions to allow them to start to open up. You'll feel so much better in doing that instead of struggling to try to come into a shape that your body might not be ready for. So from here, keeping the spine tall, bring the hands behind us with the fingers pointed away, and allow your inhales to let the legs float up, and your exhales to allow the knees to open up. Breathing in and breathing out. Feeling that beautiful length and stretch. And do one more. Staying tall here. And from here, we draw the knees together. or you might have to walk the feet away a little bit just to give yourself a little hug, rounding into the back, a really good stretch. And as we come back to sitting tall, let's bring the legs nice and wide open. So depending on your flexibility, you might have to bring the feet a little bit closer together, legs closer together, which is okay. Again, sitting on your blanket here is a really good way to create more hinge in the hips, because what happens quite often, you might find yourself rolling back like this and kind of struggling to stay upright and having to round your back. So we want to slide the shoulders back, draw the belly button in, and bring the hands forward as you tip. Breathe in and get long, and breathe out and tip, maybe a little further forward. And just ease in your way. See if you can pull the toes towards you also. Quite often the legs are, the feet are pointed away, which is okay. It's just that if we want to target those really tight muscles in the backs of the legs, in the inner hips, flexing the ankles is going to be really helpful. So here also you could use of the bolster, place it underneath your rib cage, or the block. Block can be a really nice way to allow yourself to rest the ribs, maybe even the second one to rest your forehead on, so that you are more comfortable hanging out here for a few breaths. So we're only staying for anywhere from 5 to 10 breaths for these poses, because we do want to just bring the body through a yawn practice. So it is still an active practice. So let's take one more breath here. So if you can soften and relax in lots of weight of the head, weight of the ribs, pulling down, and then easing your way back up again. So as we come up to sitting nice and tall, let's bring those knees to a little bit of a bend, and ease them together, ease the feet together as we stretch out the right leg and bring the left one across. So you just want to bring that knee. Now if it is too difficult, if your hips are really tight, you could keep the foot to the inside of the leg. So adjust accordingly. Again, you do want to keep that ankle somewhat flexed, and as you bring that foot in, you might even be able to bring the foot all the way over to stack the knees. Your knee might be a little further over to the side if your hips are tighter. But from here, let's take a big stretch, reaching the arms up. And as we open up the arms, we'll bring the right one in front and wind the left one around to squeeze those elbows together. You can rest your forehead, that third eye chakra, right over top of your thumbs, and then take a little tip forward. Now if you're not able to wrap the arms, you could just stack your elbows together over your knees and bring the hands to the tops of your shoulders, and just allow yourself to tip down. Slowly release that. Nice couple of shoulder rolls here. Breathing in, let's inhale, reach up, exhale, tipping forward. And again, you don't have to go very far. You might find that you're pretty much staying sitting tall still, or you may, over a period of time, be able to begin to surrender further into your forward fold. Slowly unroll out of this. And what we do on one side, we must always do on the other side to balance it out. You can shake out the legs a little bit, and once more, we take the right leg, cross it over if you can, or keep it to the inside. If you're able to cross it over, maybe you bring that foot a little further over still. So let's reach up, inhaling those arms up. This time the right one comes in front and the left one comes forward, right one wraps underneath it as we bring those palms together. Lift the elbows and hands to shoulders if you need to. Forehead rests over top of the thumb and tipping forward. This gives a really good stretch in the back, the shoulders, as well as the hips. the back, the lower back, back of the leg, all the way to your Achilles heel. So by paying attention to what's going on with your ankle on your extended leg, you get a good stretch all the way to your heel. On your bent leg, you get some external rotation on your ankle, or sorry, internal rotation on the ankle. Very slight, but still very beneficial as you unwind the arms. Reach them up. Oh, circle those arms up, inhale. Exhale, take a bow forward. Find your forward fold. Ease your way forward. Soften. Gradually deepening. Breath by breath. And easing your way back up again. So as we stretch out the legs, you can shake them out a little bit. And from here, we'll make our way down onto our back. And you will want to come down with your strap. So having your blocks near, and as we bend the knees, we just make our way down into supine position. Let's start off by giving our knees a hug into the body. First, a little bit of massaging. And as we come through the center, you can bring your left foot down. Let's take the strap and place it beneath the sole of the right foot. So you want to have it below the ball of your foot, not underneath it. So right around the arch, really. From here, you can hold on to the strap. We'll start off with both hands. Now, the left leg, you might want to keep it straight. You might keep a bend in it. You might be able to straighten it comfortably. But we begin by keeping the ankle flexed as we pull the toes toward our head. So breathing in, breathing out. Try to relax your shoulders here, so don't tense up around your neck. Take a few breaths there. And then as you hold on to the strap with your right hand, keeping your left arm down, your left hip down, your left shoulder down, start to keep pulling the toes towards your head as you open the leg out to the side. Oh, so really, really nice stretch in your inner thigh here. And just let gravity do some of the work for you. You don't have to go very far. It's really about executing the pose rather than trying to do the pose to the full range of what it might be. Have you been practicing for a long time? Or if you were really very flexible. Not everyone is. Some people are more flexible than others. There's a natural, our bodies are all different. It's important to work with what your body has available to it. And then work on expanding that, but do it sensibly and gradually to bring that leg back up again. We'll switch our hold to the opposite hand. So get a good grip on your strap here. Open up your right arm. Keep your right side connected to the floor. So notice my hip here. And I'm just going to put my index finger in the crease to kind of push down on the hip, still pulling the toes toward me, and then taking the leg over to the left side. Now notice the leg does not go very far, and that's okay, but oh boy, there's lots of sensation back there. So it's really more about that than about bringing your leg all the way across. Right now, we just want to get some stretch in those places that need it the most, so you can stay anchored on that right side and pull ever so gently with your left hand. Bring it back to the center and release your strap. Bring the knee into your body. Give it a nice little squeeze here. You can circle it around ever so gently, massaging the hip joint. Do that in both directions. And then taking your left hand to your right knee, you can open up your right arm. This time the hip is going to lift up as you come into your twist. You can keep your gaze up to the ceiling. You can take it towards your right hand. And if you like, you could use a block underneath the leg here. You're not here very long, so it's not handy, don't worry about it. You just want to feel that nice twist in your spine. As you come back to the center, bring both knees in. Give yourself a nice hug, and then bring your right foot down. Reaching for that strap once again, you're going to place it beneath the ball of your left foot, holding on to that strap with your left hand. So again, adjust the right leg accordingly. If you're more comfortable with it bent, stay there. I find I get the best stretch when I extend it out, but that's not for everyone. So you do what works for you. Hold on to that strap, flex the toes. Again, you can use both hands starting out here to just get the hamstring to open up. Never forcing it, never locking the knee. So you do want to feel your quads somewhat engaged here to keep that leg well supported, but you're not locking the joint. You're not going to the end of range necessarily, but you are going to feel lots of length here. The more you bring your toes towards your head. As you keep holding on, you're pulling that strap, or gently guiding rather than pulling. You're pulling towards your head, but you're guiding it to the left so that you get that beautiful inner thigh groin stretch as you allow the combination of the weight of your leg and gravity's pull to do the stretching for you. So you can relax, close your eyes, soften up your jaw. Don't get tight in the jaw, the neck. It's all good. You just want to use this to relax. Don't strain, don't stress. It's not what this is about. We want to let go of cortisol. We don't want to create it through our practice, just like inflammation. We don't want that. And then slowly using the inhale to bring the leg back up again. As you do, you're still pulling toes towards your head. You are going to switch the strap to the other hand. And again, now you're anchoring your left hip down. So push it into the floor. Anchor your left shoulder. Pull the toes towards your head and pull the leg gently to the right. And just explore your range, what works for you. Relax the jaw, soften. And then bending the leg. Bring it back, hand to the kneecap as you set your strap aside, massaging at your head. Circling it in one direction a few times, circling it in the other. And then taking your right hand to the left knee, open up and take it across for a beautiful spinal twist. Breathing easy. And as you come back and unwind, we'll bring the feet a little bit closer with the knees bent, pressing through the back of the head and aligning yourself. You want to lift your hips up a little bit, kind of tuck your tailbone as you replace your spine back down. Press into the hands, keep the heart open, the toes pointed directly straight ahead. Take a big breath in and then start to peel your tailbone away as you lift yourself up into a bridge. From here you can interlace the fingers, lift the hips up, open up the chest maybe a little bit more as you perhaps walk your shoulder blades in a bit more, lifting those hips. They may not come very high off the floor, that's okay. You just do what you can. You want to squeeze a little bit through your glutes in order to get a little bit more lift and arch. And then slowly bring your spine back down again. Bring your knees into the body. Big hug. Lift your nose to your knees. And coming into a happy baby position. Maybe the knees just come apart, the legs stay bent. Perhaps you're comfortable holding on to maybe the backs of your knees or your ankles or even the inside edges of your feet. So wherever you're comfortable reaching, go ahead. Take hold of what you can. A little bit of rocking from side to side. And then gently bringing those feet or legs together again. Walk the feet away. Bring your legs long on your mat. Bring the palms up. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth once again. Soften up. Nice big breath in. Exhale, closing the eyes, allowing your body to feel completely released, heavy, surrendered into the mat, and feeling somewhat light, kind of floating. Remaining here as long as you would like. Whatever you do, begin to make your way out. You can start to bring some movement to your hands, to your feet, move the head. A teeny tiny little turn from side to side. Stretching into your neck. You can walk the feet back in, then scooping the knees up into the body to once again massage at your back in a way that feels really good. To eventually come all the way over onto your right side as you cradle the head in the fetal position. And you just want to give your heart, your blood flow moment to get into all the right places here. And then pressing yourself up to come all the way up to a seated position. Now, as you come into seated, you can take a moment and cross-legged. I'm going to just have heart thought cards here that I'd like to share a thought with you for today. A positive, inspiring thought that I'm just going to select and see if this resonates with us. So you can just close the eyes, take a moment to breathe comfortably, whether you're still laying down on your mat or seated. And this one says, all changes are easy for me to make. The moment I'm willing to change, the universe begins to help me. It brings me whatever I need. So I hope that you feel that in your life today. I hope that this practice was exactly what you needed, and come back to it time and time again if that feels good for you, resonated well with your body. I do hope that you liked it. Give me one of these if you did, and consider subscribing, as well as making sure that notification bell is turned on so you'll know when I upload new content. You can check it out. Check me out in the next video. Namaste.